It's been a while since we got a brand new Yellowstone prequel series, but now that it's been almost a year since 1923 Season 2 premiered, it is finally time to talk about the next step in the franchise, aka 1944. Here's the thing that really gets me about 1944. This series is stepping in to answer some of the biggest and most heartbreaking questions that 1923 left behind. It's wild to realize that the story picks up about 21 years after the events of 1923. That means John Dutton, too, who is the son of Spencer and Alexandra, is now in his early 20s. Yep, we're finally getting a spotlight on the man who eventually becomes the father of Kevin Costner's John Dutton. And honestly, that already makes this series one of the most important pieces of the Yellowstone puzzle. Now, if you remember the way 1923 ended, you'll know why I'm still salty about it. After all the pain and sacrifices Spencer and Alexandra went through to be together, Alexandra ended up dying from frostbite shortly after giving birth to their baby. I don't know about you guys, but that ending broke me. I mean, truly shattered me. And I don't think I'll ever fully forgive Taylor Sheridan for it. To me, it felt ruthless and unnecessary. But here's the thing. I really believe 1944 is Taylor's way of circling back and giving us some kind of redemption. Because when we meet John Dutton, too, in 1944, he's going to be a young man shaped by tragedy. Growing up without his mother is the kind of wound that never fully heals. And that kind of grief is bound to create a Dutton, who's more complex, more scarred, and maybe even more dangerous than any of his ancestors. I know, crazy, but it is the truth. Plus, there is a curveball I don't think any one of us did see coming. Julia Schlepfer, who played Alexandra, has actually said she'd be open to returning, even though her character died. At a For Your Consideration event earlier this year, she said, "I know Brandon was lobbying for me to be a ghost. I'd be an Alex ghost for sure. And you know what? I wouldn't be mad at that." Imagine Alexandra showing up in ghost form to comfort her son or quietly haunting Spencer during one of his grief-stricken moments. That would destroy me emotionally, but in the best way possible. Let me know if you'd actually want Alexandra to return like that, because personally, I'd cry on the spot. So, who else might we see? Brandon Sklenar, who played Spencer, has already said he'd love to reprise his role. And I don't know about you, but I can't imagine 1944 without him. Seeing an older, stronger, and perhaps much more rigid Spencer trying to raise his son in a world that's tearing itself apart, while also mentoring him through the brutal realities of war. That's exactly the kind of story I want. Plus, don't forget, 1923 teased that Spencer would eventually have a romance with a widowed woman. And personally, I don't think that was just a throwaway detail. I fully expect that relationship to come into play in 1944. She could help raise John Dutton too, which means her presence might have a lasting impact on the Dutton legacy. Now let's get to the name that just won't go away, Kurt Russell. I know, you're tired of hearing about him in connection with Yellowstone. At this point, he's like a myth, always rumored but never confirmed. For years, it is rumored that Taylor Sheridan has been trying to lock him down for one of these spin-offs, but Russell seemingly has been pretty chill about it, almost playing hard to get. That being said, the massive success of 1923 and Taylor's growing power at Paramount means this time could be different. The rumor now is that Kurt might actually sign on for 1944, and not just in a small role. Supposedly, he'd play yet another Dutton man who was once a distant cousin in Tennessee, and now he is living in Montana with them, just like Jacob did all those years ago. He will accompany Spencer in his journey to raise his son and be a new father figure to him in the absence of Jacob. But let's not forget the backdrop itself. World War II isn't just set dressing for this new series. Instead, it's the main stage of 1944. We've seen the Duttons endure the Wild West in 1883, the Great Depression in 1923, and constant cycles of violence and loss. But war is a whole different beast. John Dutton, too, is the perfect age to be drafted, which means we're going to see battlefield sequences, military camps, and life-or-death missions overseas. And while he's out there, the Yellowstone Ranch itself won't be spared. This means that the war effort will impact everything, from resources to the manpower, even the way the land is managed. For the first time, we'll see the ranch caught in a truly global conflict, which is uncharted territory for the Duttons. Now let me set expectations straight. Don't hold your breath for a 2025 release. Sheridan's schedule is jam-packed, and 1944 is still deep in development. Most signs are pointing to production starting late in 2025, right after the release of the Madison, which means we're probably looking at a release sometime in late 2026. For more weekly updates, discussion, and analysis on the Yellowstone franchise, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.